I want to tell you a story today, one I call Brother Bill. There's these two Halliburton hands years ago, and they just brothers. Uh, One of them was hare lip, one of them was crippled. Old Bill was crippled. Well, the way it worked out is these old boys married two sisters that had lived down in East Texas, and they decided they was going to work for Halliburton forever. Well, they did, and they decided that when they retired that they'd take their wives and go over to Europe. Well, everything didn't work out like it was supposed to. As it turned out, the two sisters passed away right before these boys retired from Halliburton. Well, they took that Halliburton retirement money and decided that they'd buy them a black land farm down in East Texas, and so they did. Well, the boy that was hare-lipped, he got out and he worked in his garden all the time and made everything pretty and nice, and he and his brother decided they'd go to Europe. And so they did. They went ahead and took the trip to Europe and enjoyed themselves. Even though their wives weren't with them, they had a big time. And they went to see everything. Well, upon their return, they were the hare-lip boy was out in the backyard watering his tomatoes. Well, his friend come up and looked over the fence, and he said, "Say, how'd you like your trip to Europe? Where'd you go?" He said, "No, we had a wonderful time. And we went, the first place we went was London, England." And he said, "Man, it's unbelievable. They had the biggest clock that you ever seen in your whole life. It was huge." And this guy said, "You mean Big Ben?" He said, "Oh, yeah, that's what they call it, Big Ben." And he said, "Matter of fact," he said, "I went up in that Big Ben clock, and they had big old gears in there working and chain pulling, and I mean to tell you, it was really something to see. It was amazing." He said, "Well, how'd Bill like that?" "Well, Bill, he didn't get to go. He's crippled, you know." He said, "Well, where else did you go?" He said, "Oh, man," he said, we went to Paris, France, and they got the biggest oil well that you ever seen in your life. That sucker is huge. This guy said, "You mean the Eiffel Tower?" "Yeah, that's what they call it, was the Eiffel Tower. And I went up in the top of it. You can think, 7 countries from up there. 7 countries. It was amazing. It was way the hell up in the air. And I mean, it was really something else." And he said, "Well, how'd your brother Bill like that?" "Well, Bill, he didn't get to go up there. He's crippled, you know." He said, "Well, where else did you go?" "Well, we went to Italy, and we went over there. We've seen this house thing, and it was just a leaning sideways. I was walking up that thing, and man, you got to lean real sideways, and it's unreal. They're trying to keep the thermal from falling over. It's unbelievable. It's wonderful." And I said, "Well, how did Bill like that?" "Well, Bill, he didn't get to go up there. He crippled, you know." But matter of fact, while we was in Italia, there was one thing that maybe you'd like to hear about Bill. Me and Bill went to where the Pope lives, and the man said, "You mean the Vatican City?" "Yeah, that's what they call it, Vatican City. They didn't call it Rome." And we went in there, and we was standing out, and they brought the Pope out that day that we was there. And when they did, me and Bill was standing there, and the Pope come by, and he seen my brother Bill standing there, and he looked at my brother Bill, and he bowed his head, he made a little prayer, and then he reached down and he touched Bill on the shoulder. And that crutch that Bill was holding just went hanging out that way. Just amazing, went just hanging out that way. He said, "My goodness." Well, the Pope bent his head down, he said another little prayer, and then he reached down and he touched Bill on the other shoulder. And that crutch that Bill was holding just went sailing out that away. It just went sailing out that away. This man said, my goodness, that's amazing. Did Bill walk after that? Well, no, Bill fell on his ass. He crippled, you know.